The national media is on our ass today. As
Man,
if y'all that don't know, I know everybody that watches the shows and things like that, they don't, stay tapped in on Twitter and all the news as it drops. That that's just kind of the world. Everything you look up and it's a new piece of journalism, quote unquote, or news that done dropped. But early this morning, Stephen A had some things to say about the game yesterday in regards to Ja Morant and his him laughing or smiling on the bench. He always got to give his take on something, which I ain't mad at it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not, that's what you do, that's what you get paid for. Go ahead. I ain't mad at you. Get your money. But then you also had a couple hours later where Kendrick Perkins went on NBA Today and he just basically laid Jaren to the cross, which a lot of us have said basically the same thing he's saying, but to say it on a national scale, I don't know if that's going to reach him in a different way. Talked about Jaren's got to find a way to contribute more than just scoring if he's having a bad game, things like that. And then just recently, Zach Lowe, shout out to Zach Lowe, recently got let go from ESPN. I think he's a pretty objective guy when it comes to
yeah.
basketball, for sure in the media. But just talking about how the Grizzlies talked a lot of shit and now they ain't did nothing but win one playoff series and ain't did nothing to back it up. What's happening, bro? What is happening in the last 24 hours that we got the button pressed on us to say, you know, tell them dudes mouth out, in the media? Like, do you think is anything behind that, or do you feel like the criticism just coming our way? Do you feel like they're fair or unfair? What's your thoughts on that?
It's one way to look at it is unfair to fair, and I'm gonna get to that. But I feel like it's a bigger issue that is just the object of just Memphis as a city. If y'all remember, like we always have had a negative connotation towards the city. So if you're playing sports for our city, if you come out of our city, if you're a rapper, if you're a musician, if you're a politician, like I think that's just a thing that comes with being from the city of Memphis. Like if you go to anywhere in America and you say you from Memphis, what the first thing I'm gonna say? Oh, I can't go to Memphis. Y'all, all y'all do is shoot and kill and blah, blah, blah. Y'all gangster, y'all ghetto. That's what you hear. If you go you go to Penny Hardaway, all the time about Penny can't coach. He's undisciplined. He's da 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 da. Go to Job around the Grizzlies. Oh, Job, he want to do this and that. Like I'm honestly, I've heard everything that you said. Like everything that you said, I heard like the quotes that all three of the guys said. But honestly, I'm not surprised. Like, do I feel like we haven't helped ourselves? Yes, I feel like with the shit talking that we've done and the underperforming we've done in the playoffs, yes. But I feel like this comes to the territory that with the stigma that we unfairly have as a city and citizens of our city and people that represent the city. So yes, I feel like, and I've said on this show how I feel like we have definitely underperformed in the John Morant area. I feel like we should have been made to a West Conference Finals by now, and we haven't. I feel like we shouldn't be in the playing situation where we were an eighth seed. But do I feel like Kendrick Perkins saying that James Jackson Jr. isn't a top 10 big in the league? Do I feel like that's just too far? Yes. Do I feel like all the things that they had the NBA scrutinize John Morant about the celebration that he did, and people call him a thug and this, that, and the other? Do I feel like that's too far? Yes. Have we helped ourselves? No, but I feel like it's way too far. Along with this, the stigma the city of Memphis has, yes, as well, which I feel like it is unfair. So it's a mixed bag. I'm just honestly anything negative people say about Memphis, I'm not surprised anymore because the person is as you as well has lived in other places outside of Memphis. That's a stigma that goes along with it. It's hard to have people say nice things about the city. So I'm not surprised. Honestly, I'm not. And it sucks to be two native Memphians. We have to hear this. Whether it's about our sports team or just about our city as a whole. But I feel like it's just parts of the course at this point.
Yeah, I do think it is a level of what's the word I'm looking for? Um I just say keep it simple. It is a level of truth to the fact that I feel like people do find a way to dogpile on the city, right? I gave this example on the show before, not that they were dogpiling, but just as a real life experience. I remember when I was younger, I got family that live up in Chicago. Love going up there. Me and my wife were talking about trying to get up there at some point this season to see Angel and them, and one of her best friends, almost like a sister to her, Isabel Harrison, just signed with the Liberty, I believe. So trying to catch a Liberty Sky game would be dope. But was talking about, well, I was telling her the story, and I told her here before where I went up there for vacation or a reunion, or it was something when I was a kid. And I remember when I was up there, my cousins that live in Chicago were talking about like the the dangerousness of Memphis. And me being from Memphis, growing up in Memphis, I'm literally traveling to you from Memphis, leaving my home to hear that. And then I'm going back into the city thinking these things in my head, like, dang, is Memphis this bad? Like, and then you go to school the next day and it's just you living your normal life. And it's like people that are not in something every day. And it's just a natural order of life. I guess you would say you can have your perceptions, but we always say, like, when people come to the city, they get to appreciate the beautifulness of the city. Like you just you hearing certain things, so you don't really get to understand it. And so I definitely think it's some truth to that. But at the same time, I do think the criticisms are fair. Now, in regards to Ja laughing and smiling on the bench, I get what you want the man to do. Like you want him to sit over there and pout and
Be
cry.
depressed the whole time.
You
Like,
want him to,
come on.
yeah. We've
He's
seen
a
Ja
human,
with a
bro.
shiesty on this season, bro. Do you think I want to see any remnants of that again? No, I don't. Like
Nah.
if Ja happy, if Ja healthy, I'm good, bro. Like I understand. And the reason I say that, I know it's an ongoing conversation, which I'm gonna kind of, I guess, lead into talking about Jan here in a second. It's an ongoing situation on Twitter now in regards to the whole Jaren situation with Kendrick Perkins, because people that are, I guess, stands of either one, Josh stands, Jaren stands. You got people playing their flag. To me, I love the people that's on the front of the jersey, which is the Grizzlies. I don't really get caught up on the back and trying to pick a side on anything like that. But people are like, well, it is periods where Ja doesn't play well and does this. One thing that about Ja Morant that you will never have me or probably anybody that's within this fan base or media member say is that dude don't give it his all when he's out there. Outside of parts of this season that we know why. Context matters now. He was out there looking a little different in spurts this year, but we know why. It wasn't because his want to win or his will to win. Even yesterday in the game, I'm trying not to get too ahead of myself, but just it was points in that game where you knew it was done. Like he knew it was done, and you shot up in the ankle, 2-3 shots in your ankle with whatever they put inside of him to make him a superhuman, and you still going out there trying your hardest to compete and get a bucket, while your counterparts may not look like they're too interested in even being on the floor no more. For me, that is where, like, you can say what you want about how he looked on the bench. I know that dude is gonna come out tomorrow ready to play from the drop of a hat. Like I ain't got to worry about that. Where I feel like the criticisms are fair, and people that are Jaren fans are gonna say that I'm caping for Ja, whatever. I don't have, but I can give two shits about either one of them conversations. But I am gonna be honest. The thing about Jaren that we've been talking about ad nauseum for the last couple of years is just his aggressiveness and will to want to win. And it's been a lot of times where you question that. It's a lot of times when you get into these series or big game situations where the guy just don't give you what you know deep down he's able to give. And so Kendrick Perkins calling him out on a national platform to a lot of the same criticism that we've had on this show, people in different, platforms, whether you want, talk about Twitter spaces, other podcasts, things like that. They're very real criticisms, bro. If you are not going to affect the game offensively, you as the guy that is pretty much the designated number 2 on this team, or should be, especially if you're trying to get paid like one, you should be trying to affect the game in different ways. And we've always talked about that, whether it's setting screens, rebounding, defensive intensity, hustle plays, things like that. And when you don't find ways outside of that to affect the game, that's when people, again, from Memphis, that fell in love with that grit and grind team are going to feel a kind of way, especially if you're a former athlete yourself. Like if you were out there with a homeboy and you out here busting your ass and you look to your left and your right and nobody coming with you, whether you playing good or not, you're going to feel some type of way about that. And so, like, that's where a lot of that comes from. So, in regards to the guys not doing anything or whatever, it's truth to that too. It's true to that too. We've only won playoff series, and you can bring up different scenarios why, whether it be injury, Taylor Jenkins, Dylan Brooks, have at it.
Yeah, easy. Yeah.
you can pick your poison of
Luke
that.
Kennard getting hurt, like anybody. Yeah,
The
anybody.
shoulder, yeah. The
Yeah.
truth of the matter still states what Zach Lowe said is a fact, and that's that we have only won within this Grizz Next Gen era. We've won one playoff series. And depending upon if these guys don't come out, tomorrow with a renewed mind, I mean, we could be looking at that still being a fact pretty much going into year 8 for Jaren, 7 for Ja, and 6 for
Yeah.
Desmond Bain.